Hey Anna,
Hey, Mike.
I heard our good friends at Darwest have some exciting news.
They really do. They've just launched a new joint care supplement.
Ooh, and what is that?
Well, it's called Move Wellia.
Well, see what they did there?
Yeah, well, they've done that there. It's very clever because the main ingredient of this joint supplement is a herb called Boswellia, and that comes from India. And the thing about it is, it's got a long tradition in Ayurvedic medicine as really supporting natural anti-inflammatory pathways in the body, which of course includes the joints. And for joints that just may be feeling a bit stiff, bruised, a bit challenged.
So I could use it on Billy now because he's not showing any signs of joint issues, but he's 5 and he's a terrier, so he runs around like crazy. So do it now before he shows signs of that.
Totally, yes. I mean, really, what they say is to begin sort of at the age of about 2, already sort of preventing any issues occurring. So I definitely think about some joint care support, maybe with Movewellia.
Okay, dokie. Well, if I wanted to go on the internet and get some this lovely new product, what would I do? Like our listeners might want to do.
Well, our listeners all get a special promo discount if you tap in Dog's Life for 10% off. And if you spend £50 or more, it's free delivery. But what I always like to suggest is why don't you ring up the Dorwest team because they are so knowledgeable and so helpful. And the number is 01308 897 272. Or just go to their website, dorwest.com. Hey, Mr. Binks, you know you've heard all about this new program on CBeebies called Dog Squad. Well, we're so excited because we're jumping on Zoom now to talk to one of the case studies that is Dr. Amit Patel and his amazing guide dog called Kika. He's going to give us the full scoop. I'm Anna Webb. Welcome to A Dog's Life. Dr. Amit Patel, welcome back to A Dog's Life.
Thank you so much, Anna. Thank you for having me.
No, it's a real pleasure because I'm so excited. You are a friend of the podcast. And for those who may not have heard of you, those listeners who may not have heard of you already, you have a guide dog, don't you, called Kika?
I do. Quite a famous guide dog now, actually. Yes. I think it's got to a head as well.
Has it really? Well, she's got a beautiful head because she is, she is a very striking yellow Labrador, is Kika. And I'm honored to have met her a couple of times in real life when we've done the radio together.
Yeah, absolutely. I think she really enjoyed coming into the studio last time round.
Well, it is fun actually, and it's great to have a dog in the studio. And really, it's only assistance dogs that are allowed in, to the BBC. But talking about the BBC have launched a new program for children, have they not, Amit, called Dog Squad?
Dog Squad, absolutely. So it's a show that showcases 5 amazing assistance dogs, and each dog has a unique superpower, and it's kind of a hybrid program. So you've got animation and you've got real-time videos, but you also get to see what the dog's seeing and also hear what the dog is thinking and saying as well.
I know, I've watched a couple of the trailers. I obviously watched you and Kika, and I loved the way they described how Kika navigates escalators.
Yeah, well, the show is it's one of those shows that we hope that will bring down barriers on disability. It's a show that if kids start watching disabled people with assistance dogs on mainstream TV, it's the norm. It's not something different. It's also showcasing that having a disability doesn't mean that you sit around at home all day. You can still have a job, you can still go out, you can still socialize, and that's what we want to bring across. We want to bring out that having a disability means that you are still part of the community. You just do things in a different way with the aid of these amazing dogs.
Yeah, no, I love it. I wish I was that. Well, I don't think you need to be young to watch this. I'm certainly, already glued because I think it's so educational, as you say, from, the disability point of view, but also for children to kind of get their heads around dogs, really, and their immense, as you say, their superpowers and how dogs can help us so much.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you saying that it doesn't matter if it doesn't matter if you've got kids or you don't. On social media, so many people have got in touch with me saying, I'm in my mid-40s, I don't have kids, but I am tuning in, I am loving it. You don't have to have kids to watch CBBS, but I think this program is very much, if you love dogs, you will love the show. You will love the quirkiness. You will love the humor. It will hopefully make you smile. It will make you laugh, and it will kind of educate you as you're watching it.
Yeah, exactly. And also, there's so many different types of dogs, which I think's interesting as well, because people sort of think, as a child, I'm the Blue Peter generation,
Yes.
and I learned a lot about guide dogs through Blue Peter at a
Yep.
very young age, and I'm so thankful for that. But you do think of guide dogs as Labradors, really,
You do.
but they do come in other shapes and sizes. But particularly on the program, because you've got a little Shih Tzu, a little hairy fluffy dog.
We have.
Yeah,
We've got it's a Lhasa Apso.
Oh, is he a Lhasa Apso? I stand corrected.
So that dog's called Tinks, a tiny little dog, but with the heart of a big dog. He, Tinks thinks it's bigger than it actually physically is, but it's the most amazing dog, and it helps our owner Charlie, who is in a wheelchair. And Tinks' special powers is fetching. So Tinks will go and fetch mobile phones, pick things up, open doors, all for Charlie because she finds it difficult. So all of these dogs are showcasing just what they do. So Kika, being my guide dog, her superpower is super sight.
Sure.
You've got Diesel, the Cocker Spaniel, who is the hearing dog for its owner Ryan, who is hearing impaired. So again, superpowers are super hearing. You got Meggie, who is a border collie and is a search and rescue dog with the owner Tom. And again, superhero is super nose. It sniffs out people up in the mountains and it helps rescue people. And then one of my favorites is the Newfoundland called Sylvie. Big, fluffy, cuddly dog. And superpower is its super heart, because Sylvie is a support animal, support dog. So she will go into schools, hospitals, and put people at ease if they're having any problems with hospitals, whether the kids just need to have kind of calm themselves down. Sylvie is that dog that will calm you down.
It's amazing, isn't it? Because stress is so been in the press, actually, the last few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
That the University of Belfast revealed that our dogs do so smell and can kind of really diagnose
Absolutely.
stress. And stress is such a underlying problem for us all, really. I think particularly just come out of the pandemic where there was a whole load of unique stresses thrown at us. And then now, we're living in a cost of living crisis and we've got Christmas coming up. And so again, stresses are going to start brewing, I think, for all of us. And this is where dogs, whether it is the lovely Sylvie, who is, as you say, a Newfoundland, so a huge dog, but all dogs have the capabilities, don't they, to de-stress us.
They do. It's even Kika being around me when I'm out and about puts me at ease. People who've never met Kika will say, she is such a calming influence, and she really is. While the harness is on, she's in work mode. She's very, very calm. It doesn't matter how busy the environment around her is, but the moment the harness comes out, she's still very, very calm. And I love that. I love the fact my 6-year-old and my 3-year-old get to grow up with this amazing creature in our house. They've got the full respect of what Kika does and full respect of what dogs are and what they do and what they're capable of doing. But if my 3-year-old had a rough day at nursery, should I say, she will be found in Kika's bed, snuggled up with Kika, because Kika is her comfort blanket. It really is. And I love the fact that doesn't matter what time of the day it is, she will have her head on Kika's belly and she'll be fast asleep sometimes.
I know. I love that. I love that image. It just really shows how dogs and children as well are,
Mhm.
a bit like strawberries and cream,
Yes.
when it's all done right. And it's so important, I think. I mean, I was lucky. I grew up with dogs from a very, very young age, and I'm so thankful because I've never had any fear around dogs. I've seen them as just like, well, more of my tribe really than some
Yes.
humans are. Actually, I
Yes.
can genuinely relate easier to dogs, I think, than some people, to be honest. And I think this is where this program really comes into its own as well, to help children who maybe haven't got a dog at home, maybe have had a
Mhm.
bad experience of a dog,
Yeah.
to help them overcome maybe some latent fears or cultural references that make them hesitant about the dog. And when you think as well, I mean, we've got so many more dogs living now in the UK. So,
Absolutely.
they're everywhere. They literally are everywhere. So I think it's a program that really works on many levels.
It does. I think it's great that that the producers at Hello Halo, especially Jane Austen, who I've been working with on the show, she reached out to assistance dogs who helped with actually recommending the way we actually put the series forward. You've got Assistance Dogs UK, Hearing Dogs for the Deaf, Support Dogs, Therapets, and the Search and Rescue Dog Association of Scotland all got involved just to make sure that what we are putting out was correct, and that we're showcasing not just how amazing these dogs are, but the fact that these dogs do a really important job for our owners, but then also have downtime. They only do this job because they want to. You can't ever tell a dog to do something it doesn't want to do. I've had Kika for 7 years now, and I tell her to go out and have a bit of a pee when it's raining. She's like, nope, I'll hold it in for 24 hours. It's what it is. So you can't tell a dog to do something it doesn't want to do. So the fact that these dogs are doing it with a big smile on their face, they're loving what they're doing, and then they have that kind of downtime with the rest of their buddies at the end of the show every episode. It's just a lovely thing. But I think the hardest thing, the whole concept of the show, I kind of got around. I understood what they wanted to do, but the hardest thing for me was voicing Kika.
Did you
Now,
voice her? Oh
no,
my.
no, I didn't voice her. So I obviously working with Kika for 7 years now. I think I know what she sounds like. So every dog has a famous actor and actress to actually voice the dog. So you actually hear what they're thinking and what they're saying as well. So in my head, I kind of thought, well, Kika, she's not very young. She needs a voice that kind of has a little bit more, authority, but then has that kind of giggleness, that happiness, that kind of rounded voice that you could hear all day long. So it was Georgia Tennant
Oh, really?
who voiced Kika, and
You,
she's got the giggle right down
you know,
perfectly.
she has. I know except that when Kika reaches, because the escalator scene, for example, is Kika going, right, I must choose the right escalator because we need to go up.
That's it.
And then it was like, right, we're on, steady on, Dad.
Yes,
And then, and I loved it. And then it's like, now I must time this right. Because obviously the bit of getting, off the escalator.
that's
And
right.
you make the point that, unless your dog's trained to go on an escalator, don't try it because, the end bit can be a bit sticky if the paws get stuck
Yes.
under the, yes.
Yes.
So, yeah, in fact, I think it is, it's mandatory to carry your dog if it's not an assistance dog, on
That's
escalator.
right.
But I love the bit, like you can hear the cheeky now. I must get this right. We
Yes.
mustn't go too soon. It mustn't be too late. We're doing it now. And
I love that though. That to me isn't a kids program. It's a program that will make you laugh regardless of whatever age you are.
yeah.
And that's what's come across so well. The feedback on this is, do you know what, Amit? I didn't think I would ever be watching CBeebies at my age, but it's on, and it's if you love dogs, you're gonna love the show. But it brings a little bit of education your way as well, because we talk about the spinning cones underneath the pelican crossings. So all of these things that people never really realized. Oh, people watch me cross the road all day long, every day. They're probably wondering, how does he know when it's gonna, when that green man's come? Kika doesn't tell me. I'm the one telling Kika. But we've got it down to such a T now, where when the cone starts to spin, all I do is just tug slightly on our harness, and that's Kika's cue to say, right, it's time to cross, providing there's no cars coming. So there's no vocalization for me when I'm out on the streets every day, because we do this as a routine. But people must wonder, how does he do this? Or does the dog see the green man?
It's interesting, isn't it? Well, you see, over time, though, there'll be little cues, I think, that Kika will be picking up at those crossings,
Yes.
and that she will actually know when the man is green.
She stands there and her head is going left to right, left to right. And someone did ask me, oh, is she watching the traffic? And I kind of said, yes. I said, yeah, she's just looking for a clear path from when we. But it's funny because we could be at the crossing and people will walk up behind us and then they're never too sure whether to cross the road at a red signal or to wait for the green man, because they think if they cross at the red, Kika might follow them. And they stand there and then someone else comes along and walks straight across the road and they're like, oh, okay, Kika hasn't moved, I'm going to go now. So it's quite fascinating.
That is interesting, actually, but it also shows, how well you can train dogs and how they are totally at one with you. And, and you've always got that sound, haven't you, of the green man sound as well.
Not always,
really?
Unfortunately. Yeah. So if you have,
really?
if you have 2 or 3 crossings next to each other, you don't have the audible signal because you wouldn't know which one is beeping.
Oh, right. Okay.
So some crossings just have the little cones that spin, and obviously that visual green man that comes up. If you're at a junction with 4 or 5 kind of crossings, there's no audible noise because the blind person would actually mix up which one is actually beeping.
Gosh, yeah. No, gosh, it's extraordinary, really. I love this, but also on another level, Amit, I know we've talked about this before, but it's about discrimination with assistance dogs, which I can't bear. I mean, there's absolutely no place for it at all now. Years on from the first guide dogs. I mean, guide dogs have celebrated, haven't they, their 100th anniversary?
Yeah.
So it's a pretty long time for us, but it still goes on, doesn't it, Amit? I know you've had experiences that are just unacceptable.
It does, and unfortunately, that's one of the bad sides of having an assistance dog. Not everybody understands what they are or knows the law when it comes to assistance dogs. But I'm hoping kids watching this, and the next generation, that they will be watching this and thinking, well, actually, these dogs are amazing. They're specially trained to do the job they're doing. And, they won't think anything of it when they see Kika or a hearing dog or a support animal kind of walking through a supermarket. It's okay. They've got their coats on. They're working as much as they want to go over and say, oh, hello. Can I say hello? They will kind of hold that back because they know from watching the show, hopefully, they'll know how important it is for these dogs to actually just carry on working and concentrate. But the whole access denials when you walk into a supermarket or walk into any places of business, it's one of those things that kind of puts a down on things, because you're having to explain, well, okay, it's a guide dog, are you discriminating because it's a dog? Are you discriminating because I'm sight impaired? Would you say the same thing with someone with crutches or a wheelchair? You wouldn't do that. And these dogs are specially trained to take their owners around. They are trained to be in busy areas. They're trained to take you into shops. And when someone actually turns around and stops you for being visually impaired, it kind of does. You kind of think, oh, it makes you angry. But the thing is, I'm hoping that we kind of get beyond that. Sometimes it happens once, and then hopefully it doesn't happen again. You educate that person once, and they will never stop another assistance dog owner again. And that's kind of the hope I have. Every time I get stopped, hopefully that person then will never stop anybody else and have an understanding.
Yeah, I know, you're so good. You're so generous of spirit, really, Amit, I think. But it must be frustrating. But, I bet it's been fun, though, hasn't it, this project, as a fun project, just to add to your to-do list, because I know you're very, very busy and you are, an ambassador for guide dogs as well. So but I bet it was fun doing some of the filming.
It was. Do you know what? It was so fun. Because this conversation came up with Hello Halo back during lockdown, and it was supposed to be just a one-off episode, Adventures of Amit and Kika, and it got to BBC commissionings, and it kind of grew bigger and bigger and bigger. And the team then we ended up with 5 assistance dogs. Each assistance dog has its unique powers, and it just snowballed in a great way. But filming was quite challenging because obviously Kika is trained to to avoid obstacles, and sometimes in the program there's a few obstacles that we kind of come across. They want to do the point of view from Kika. They want to have the wide shot of us walking towards something. So Kika has to do these shots 2 or 3 times. After the 3rd time, she's like, well, actually, I know someone's going to get in my way, so I'll just turn before they get there. And it's like, oh, do you know what? And you can't tell her off because she's doing her job. We spent hours at a train station just doing this episode, the first episode, and we went up and down the escalators just at the right time. And then you'd get a passenger who'd come across, and obviously this is a train station that's busy, has passengers every day, so we can't get in the way. We're trying to film in between passengers, so when someone gets in the way or someone talks between a shot, you kind of have to do it all over again. And I did laugh to the team. I did joke and I said, look, Kika's going to take me back into London and not go on a train. She's just going to ride up and down on the escalators all day long because that she's loving it. But
and you focused on that particular aspect, so then that becomes kind of reinforced.
But no, she came back into London and off she went back into her normal duties, which is fantastic.
Oh, it doesn't surprise me, but I bet she enjoyed it as well, But she's very famous, Kika, because Kika has a book as well, Kika and Me, which is a fabulous, obviously true story that I love because, it took you from being a bit hesitant about bringing a guide dog, Kika, into your life, or questioning really, could she really make that extra bit of difference?
Could any dog
make that?
My biggest fear was when I lost my sight, guide dogs was the last thing on my mind. It was basically get back on my feet again. And the conversation of guide dogs happened. We started talking to the charity and they said, because I had no idea what the process was. And they said, look, Amit, we profile you to see what you do, where you work, where you live, how fast you walk, what your sight ability is, how confident you are. All of these things are taken into consideration. And then you are put into a profile. Every dog that comes out of the system is profiled and then you're matched. But they said, look, honestly, it's 3-4 years is what it takes to be matched to the right dog. So I thought to myself, well, okay, that's perfect. You're giving me 3 years to get around the fact that a dog might come into my life. And my biggest fear was, well, if you're walking down the road and it sees a squirrel, does it run after the squirrel? If it sees another dog, what's it going to do? Because I've never had a dog growing up, never had anything against it. I just never had the time commitment to have a dog. And so hesitant about the dog, but I thought, okay, 3-4 years, I can get my head around this, and it'll be, and then I can kind of get in the right frame of mind. But 6 weeks was my waiting time, and it was the call was, Amit, we think we found you a dog, but she may not like you because she's very stubborn, but then so am I. So it just worked.
Oh, it's brilliant. It is brilliant. And I so recommend that book. So, if anyone's thinking about their Christmas present list at the moment, it is Kika and Me, isn't it, Amit?
It is. And the book is becoming a film as well.
No.
So it's being adapted to a cinematic film. So that's in the process as well. So it's
oh no, who's playing you? Who's playing Kika?
We're not sure yet. We're not sure yet.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
So the script should be ready by the end of the year.
No.
But it's when you think over lockdown, we were talking with Sky, BBC, ITV, who wanted to make a 3-part drama series out of the book. Disney Channel, Amazon, all approached and said we wanted to make this into a film, and then we've ended up with an amazing producer and director who's BAFTA nominated to put this thing together. Because in my head, it's an east west kind of film. It needs a big Bollywood song in there somewhere.
Definitely.
So it's to actually be able to sign this off and go with people that we could trust in making this the way we see it, because it's quite funny because we had Hollywood studios approaching us and who wanted to take the book and actually adapt it to a scene in New York. And it's not, right. To me, it's not a New York film. It's not a film based in America. It's very much a British film. And we had companies who wanted to make it and base it out in Mumbai. But again, it's not a Mumbai film. It is a British film. The people who helped me get back on my feet were British charities, were UK charities. So yeah, we ended up with an amazing producer and director, and hopefully in the next few years it might be up in your cinema screen.
That is such exciting news. Honestly, oh, it's brilliant. That is so brilliant. I can't wait. I absolutely can't wait. Well, please, gosh, give us a heads up. I know
Oh,
you will,
absolutely.
of course. But I mean, wow, it's just such an inspirational story. I mean, I love you, Amit, and I love Kika, and you just, fly the flag so proudly and kindly, and it's just brilliant. I think
Oh, do you
not
know what?
just
It's really nice to kind of you to say. But for us, it's we struggled to get the help and the supports we needed when I lost my sight. We didn't know where to turn to, and the same as my wife. Nobody really asks the carers, "How are you doing?" Nobody thinks about the people behind the scenes. So the book is a great way for us to say, well, look, this is the real story. You don't just wake up one morning and things just change for the better. You have to, it's having good people around you. It's finding the help and the support, being able to find someone you can turn around to and say, look, this is what I'm really going through, and having that ability to actually air your views and say, and not have to fake that smile every single day, and to be real. And I know I'm very, very honest about that. I have my good days, I have my bad days, but that's life. But
yeah.
to know that you don't have to go through life on your own is what I wanted to get out there. It doesn't matter who you are, what you are, how much you know. If we all need help sometimes, and it's okay to ask.
Yeah. I think that's such an important message. I think people are afraid to reach out, aren't they? Afraid of rejection. But
They're
that's the
afraid of
thing.
what people see them. If people might think that, oh, I'm not. Even at work, people. I get contacted by people who are saying, I'm slowly losing my sight, but I can't tell work because I'll miss out on my promotion, or I'll miss out on this, and I'll miss, people are going to see me differently. And I think that's the stigma attached to disability. And my goal is to get that stigma away. I don't want someone to see me as blind Amit. I want someone to see me as Amit. Look at my abilities, look at what I can do. Don't look at my disabilities. That's the last thing you should be looking at. Look at what I can achieve, what I say, what I do, that's what you should be focusing on. But unfortunately, a lot of people focus on the negative side.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And it is wrong. And I think, gosh, well, I can't believe this film. I think, so we're talking about CBBS, and now, we're also talking about, a massive blockbuster film. It's fantastic, so certainly, I mean, will you, with the film, will you be on the set, do you think, sort of putting input in?
I am. So I am part of the team. So I do, but it is my life, it's my story. So it's great to be working with a team that actually appreciates the input, and I'm part of the kind of script writing as well, and inputting. So hopefully I think it's going to be exciting when it comes to casting, because I still can't see who plays me. It's weird. I can't see anybody else playing me. So it's like the voice of Kika. Once I hear it, hear that person talk, it'll kind of go, yes, this is real now.
Yes, but well, I love the voice of Kika and all the other dogs, of course, back in Dog Squad. So for people wanting to catch up with Dog Squad, what time is it on, and how many episodes are there, Amit?
So Dog Squad is on CBBS on weekdays 4 p.m. and it was also available on iPlayer. It started last week on Monday, so we'll have 5 episodes out already. It's out for another 2 more weeks, and hopefully in the new year we might get some more seasons.
Fantastic. Well, that'd be super to carry on the journey, or maybe bring in some other dogs, and just keep the momentum. Oh gosh, well, Amit, it's been really inspirational chatting with you, and on Remembrance Sunday as well, when we all need to pause, think of others, and also remember all of the animals, that paid the main price, for helping us win several combats, and dogs working with their handlers, and using their superpowers to help us in conflict.
Absolutely. These amazing creatures.
Amazing creatures. Well, Amit, I can't wait for you to come back on and talk about the film.
Thank you so much. It was lovely chatting with you, Anna.
Thank you. That's our show, Mr. Binks. What did you think? Yes, aren't all these dogs extremely clever? And I know you agree, what a super educational programme. And you're right, it is time for Woof of the Week. With Remembrance Sunday still on our minds, it's so important to think about all the animals with all their superpowers in the past and present that have helped us in combat and life in general. Well, I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, go on, rate and review the show wherever you tune into your podcasts. Thanks again to Dr. Amit Patel, and all the links to him and Kika are in the show notes. Thanks to Mike Hansen, my producer, for all the music and production as usual. Find out more about him at Pod People UK. And for me, I'm at Anna Webb Dogs. What's that, Mr. Binks? Yes, you're right. We will be back in your feed next Sunday. So why don't you subscribe now? It's totally free, and that way you'll never miss another show. And you could check out our new Patreon service and see if you want to give us a tip. Bye for now.